Achtung, the following podcast is not intended for younger audiences. So if you are young, enjoy it, but not here.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everything else in between, we are Marcus, John, Tom, myself, Vincent, and Les for your entertainment tonight. We're going to do a podcast. It's our second one since we've come back after the 5.5 years hiatus. So we're hopefully warmed up now. Forgive us for our lack of MMA knowledge the last time. In the intervening time, we've improved a lot, I hope. So bear with us. We're going to be talking about karate combat and maybe, I don't know, we'll be talking about what's the best martial arts for self-defense. We usually talk about that. We might do a coach's corner and bear with us. We'll see what happens. Have we a song?
Cause it's the Strange Wolves podcast. Tell them, boys, how long's it gonna last?
20 minutes.
I think people are still reeling from the first podcast we released, and like the
It was like a week ago.
feedback's been crazy. You know, people are just like, wow, I can't get enough of this. So yeah, you're in for a treat. And if you're losing, here's a little life hack. You don't have to give up your back. You don't want the world to see you choke. Just headbutt Cyril Gaines' eye poke. What are Tom's chances if they rematch? 7% like Moneyberg's body fat. Even if he comes back stronger, John Jones' fingers are much longer. Conor McGregor tried to be president-elect, but his campaign poster was a little too erect. So lads, listen, don't be silly. Don't tie a weight around your willy. The real question is, what are you lifting? What are you lifting with that thing? Oh, what are you lifting? Ooh, I think you're making love wrong if you're tying a weight around your rod. What are you lifting?
Woo! They could be fishing.
So you think Cyril Gane will beat Tom?
Me?
Yes.
yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. I'd fancy Tom if it goes to the ground, Tom Hogan. But I think he won the first fight. He was winning that. Like,
But it was only one round.
yeah, but it was. I don't say I was.
Do you think it was that alarmingly obvious, the difference?
Yeah, big time. I thought it was like he's getting lit up. Tom's wearing a lot of punches he got in the face, and it was. I think the eye poke was a way out.
But do you doubt the authenticity of the eye poke?
Like, no one can deny he got it both in both eyes.
It was a fairly brutal looking, eye fingering.
Yeah, but I think if he'd been winning the fight, he would have continued it. If it had been going his way, he would have.
Controversially, you heard it here first.
That's my take on it.
What do you think about referees? What would you do as a referee if someone's going around eye poking people?
I'd say easy.
The eye
Say,
taker.
hey there, none of that.
Hey,
Yeah.
stop. Careful now.
Yeah, yeah. Unless it was the deliberate where someone puts the two fingers out, like
Karate Kid.
Karate
And
Kid style.
do you think it was deliberate on Cyril's part?
No, absolutely. I don't think.
Like, how does one implant one's fingers into someone's brain that deep by accident? Like both fingers.
If you got your hands open and you're in a grappling way that you don't have a closed fist, and somebody like Tom headbutted him in the eyes, in the fingers is what I saw. Like it was an offensive move. He was like, fuck this guy. England, I'm gonna headbutt him in it. You're fucking dumb, mate.
Are you saying he hurt Cyril Gane's fingertips maybe with his eyeball?
Yeah, like I was more concerned with, geez, like that's a hand injury. That's a broken hand.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's him on the
colonialism.
shelf. That's him on the shelf. But then everyone's like, what's going on here? Tom's now suddenly taking 5 minutes because he headbutted someone's fist.
I feel like he was trying to encapsulate the spirit of both Michael Bisping and the Pirate and get like both
They have
eyes.
two
in
good
one.
eyes between them. They teamed up. They've been unstoppable.
They team
Go
up.
right, go left.
What happens money-wise? Do both lads get paid their appearance fee?
Yeah.
So both lads got probably 250,000, and they get to do a rematch next March. So it's a win-win, really.
Yeah.
Except with no eyes.
Or no fingertips. If you're poor old Cyril Gann, as
Yeah.
Marcus said.
Yeah. He got it. It was pretty rough.
Fingertips are holding onto the grips on his foundation.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like to ever predict a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
For any reason. Like, I wouldn't predict their next fight.
I don't think you've ever predicted a heavyweight fight yet.
I wouldn't like to.
I had been speaking to a second cousin at some sort of family gathering the night before the fight, and he was like, "Oh, Tom's going to win. That'll be an easy fight." And I said,
Is this the fella that I know from...
"No, different
Okay.
guy." But I said, "I don't think Tom's gonna rinse this guy. I think Cyril's striking's too good. You know, Tom will have an issue with his running in with the quick feet or Belfort like strikes that he likes to throw. He's not going to be able to do that, and he's got good takedown defense. So if he does beat him, it'll be 5-round job, which he hasn't done before.
Yes.
So it's not going to be easy. And I said he won't look as easy as John Jones made it look when he bet him. You know, that was my prediction for the fight. I said,
And Cyril Gann has the advantage of being able to eye poke people. That helps.
yeah.
Trying to win a fight.
And
He's obviously able to do it because he eye poked him twice during like 4 minutes. So he's obviously got the knack of eye poking.
Tom comes from a long line of aspirin, so he'd probably have fitness.
Of aspirin.
Yeah. Is that his name?
Aspinall.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. He wasn't around 5.5 years ago. So, you know.
Yeah, he's not dancing to the ring.
Tom Inspiration, aspirin.
He's a nice guy, Tom Aspinall. I'd like him to win. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't predict necessarily that he would.
The UFC's full of nice guys.
It's true. It's true. I've met him in person. He's a very nice guy. Yeah. So
Were you training with them?
no. But
How did you meet him?
I tell you, it was really interesting. I lined up and I waited 2 hours and I said, "Will you sign this?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Can
Put
I
your
get?"
penis away. I'll sign a bit of paper.
What a nice guy.
I'm not going signing that.
And he made a little joke, and it was good.
Oh, well,
Now, maybe they're all nice when you meet them in that scenario.
do you remember the joke?
I do, yeah. I said, I "Can I get a fist bump, Tom?" And he said, "Well, only if you don't punch me." That's where I should have, I poked him.
We could have get him on the podcast as a guest.
Oh, we probably
Let's
could.
get him next week. Get him.
I think so, yeah.
After this podcast.
So, that's the thing about UFC fighters. They're very accessible. If you want to meet them, it's not like they're Premiership football players. They're especially accessible before they're champ. You know what I mean? There wasn't even that many people lined up to meet him in London at sort of 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So it's great. The sport is still underground enough that you can meet them and chat to them.
Is it going more underground? Has the magic left it? Is it kind of going back to the doldrums a little bit?
I think if, financially wise, I think they've had their most successful year just gone. So it's like as a entity, just looking at the UFC, it's getting bigger. But there's more other gimmicky sports now as competition. So the marketplace is now saturated with combat sport. So much so do we now consider ourselves a combat sport podcast, not an MMA one, because there's so much face slapping, kicking in pits, pit rolling.
Yeah, I've been looking at Karate Combat a bit. Our old friend Darren, who was, still is a part of our club.
Shout out, Darren.
Was involved with Karate Combat and the marketing of said sport. But that's it's quite a hardcore sport. It's very much MMA without jits and just no double legs or...
I love the lack of a cage. It's kind of cool.
They use it in a very novel way, the cage wall. And then, obviously, that was copied then by the Craig Jones Invitational, which the first one was massive. Second one was massively disappointing. But
Why is that, John?
The Craig Jones thing. The first one was just captured everyone's imagination. It was on the same day as the ADCC, or same weekend as the ADCC. And there was just some absolutely fucking brilliant fights. If you haven't seen CJI 1, I would strongly urge you to watch it. And they used the cage wall really, really, or not the cage wall, How do the pit wall?
Yeah, can I just
Really, really well.
Can I,
The
can I
slope.
ask a
Where's-
question
Yeah.
just there and the CGI one? And there's only one correct answer to this, so I really hope you get it right. But who was the most handsome competitor in CGI 1?
The most handsome competitor in CGI 1. Craig Jones.
Fuck, no.
Mackenzie Dern.
No. Luke Rockhold.
Surely Mackenzie Dern is more handsome than Luke Rockhold.
But she didn't compete. Oh, she did compete at it. That's right. I forgot about that.
I don't know where it's apples and oranges here.
But anyway,
We all know Vinny only has eyes for Mackenzie Dern.
But Karate Combat used that pit wall, very in a novel way. So if you're up against that pit wall, even though you're kind of half lying down, you're still considered standing. So you can still get kicked in the face and all those different things. So
They also use the CGI really well. I think the
background,
Taj Mahal background and stuff. It's really cool.
What
My
does
favorite CGI.
I don't know how they're making money. They don't have big crowds.
what does Darren do for them?
I don't know if he does anymore. He was doing an awful lot of online marketing for them and helped them grow, I'd say, an awful lot, built the brand for them. And as a result, then when they were trying to create the CJI project, he was one of the first names. He was top of the list, so he helped them along with that, especially because they were going to be using that pit as well, even though they had modified slightly and changed the name or what you call it.
The reason why CGI 2 sucked is because they did team events. So instead of it being men's tournament, women's, there was only one women's fight, but having men in the bracket, they were a couple of teams with 5 on a
It's
team.
like the Polaris setup.
And it's not as exciting to watch the team aspect. There's a lot of draws. The stakes aren't as high. You can gameplay it a bit more. So I think that kind of made it a bit shit, really, John.
Agreed.
Some of our listeners who are just BJJ guys, they'll be like, this is good. They love when we talk a bit of jits.
It's Darren's done a really good job because the Karate Combat brand is out there. I know about it. I'm dying to see it. I've watched some highlights. I'm just still, so he's done a great job on the branding. They're up there. They're nearly up there with the UFC in the sense that, like, people have heard about the UFC, they've heard about the Karate Combat.
But it grew out of nowhere.
Nowhere,
astronomical
they've
growth,
caught
yeah.
up in terms of branding.
And there
It's
was
amazing.
an Irish champion from Laois, who was is still one of their biggest stars.
Yeah.
Lee should get Darren to help them with their brand.
I would say Karate Combat there's no money in it. The fighters don't get paid any money. That they shoot a couple months of Karate Combat in one sitting, and it just goes up on YouTube.
I hate when
and
people do
it's-
that when they shoot a couple of episodes, something.
It's just not
Just
real,
fucking
man.
lazy,
It's just
yeah.
not
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any money in it. I don't think there's a small
Something
crowd.
like they need, like I know about it. I'd like to watch it.
Yeah.
They need a hook to get me in. Someone like me to I need to know when it's on, and if maybe I know they're missing something.
Manufactured beefs, I feel like,
Yeah.
could have some,
Yeah, you're right.
if they
There's-
could manufacture some
There's
beefs.
some kind of callback fights. I think was Ben Henderson versus Pettis.
Ben Stiller.
They fought.
I'd watch that. That'd be awesome.
Blue steeled him right there. They fought in Karate Combat. I think they had a draw possibly.
They milk George St. Pierre and Bas Rutten for everything they're worth.
And how much ground and pound are you allowed doing it? Because I've seen some
5
highlights.
seconds.
Okay.
Slaps.
About 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But you're allowed to do elbows and the whole lot. So the only really, it's basically Muay Thai with sweeps and such, elbows and all those different strikes, and then about 5 seconds on the ground and pound. No,
Their style is really un-Muay Thai-esque. It's really like jumpy karate style.
yeah, it still retains that real karate thing, yeah.
So if you're training karate somewhere, like this person, is it male or female from Laois, this champion they have?
I can never pronounce the second name. It's something like Chelmaya or something like
What's the route into Karate Combat? Like, he was a black belt in karate, I assume.
Yeah.
And was competing somewhere.
that. That's just it, basically. And you kind of, I guess it's the world's greatest combat people, and they have their own belts and championships. And
The branding is so good for Karate Combat that and I've been in combat sports for, a long time, long time. And I couldn't tell you any other karate competition or taekwondo competition or
Kumite. The one
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Oh, anyone that's real. With apologies to the guy that claimed it was real that they made the movie Bloodsport
Famous
about.
documentary Bloodsport.
What's the name of the guy in that movie? He claimed that he'd done all that stuff, but he actually never had.
Claude Van Damme?
No.
There was an American guy who pretended that he had actually done the Kumite back when you
It's
could
on the
say-
tip of my tongue.
You could say anything about martial arts, like in the 80s. You could be like, oh, I was such and such a champion in Hong Kong. Secret tournament. You've never heard of it. And people go, oh, wow, you're amazing. And make a movie about you.
He had a hidden death touch.
Frank Dukes.
Frank Dukes.
Oh, he got it before the internet.
Just got it before the internet.
My man.
He had a hidden
Frank
death
Dukes.
touch as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he did also go on about his escapades over in Japan as well. I think
Yeah, because he was in the army or something, or
the Marine Corps. I
sorry, not the army. The
There's
Marine
a great
Corps.
movie about him called The Mighty Ducks.
An inch to the left.
Well.
An inch to the left.
Yeah.
So he like, we don't know what he really did. Like, was he really in the Marine Corps?
Liar. He was really a liar.
Funnily enough, I remember at some point a few years ago, I was talking to some fella, a young lad. And
Could you be more vague?
that's as specific as it's going to be. But he was saying, "Oh, yeah, you do MMA," and I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Oh, this fella out in trained somewhere like Loughrea, say for example, but he's like a proper killer, like." And I was like, "Oh, wow, what's his name? I haven't heard of him." And he mentioned some name, and he's like, "Yeah, he's actually been like abroad to like Japan and stuff in kind of illegal karate tournaments." I was like, illegal karate tournaments?
He's also a bachelor.
yeah. But it's like, it reminds me of that movie Dance Off. I think it was Dance Off 2 or Dance Off 3, where in the trailer it says, "I thought that those kind of dance-offs were illegal."
Slow down here. I'm trying to take notes.
What kind of dance-offs are they? It's like ones where you pour acid on each other's faces and then dance. But anyway, so the madness still goes strong. The karate kind of...
Dance off to what about cheerleaders?
No, it's a dance-off, I think, where they're actually just doing dance-offs.
I believe Bring It On is the
Bring It On,
franchise of
sorry,
cheerleaders.
or Wank Off, you might be thinking of when you're thinking of cheerleaders.
Step up. Step up.
No, let's Bring It On. I was thinking of
Step
Mark.
Up is a dance
Bring It On
one
was
as well.
great.
Up, step down.
That could be a top 3, Tom. Various
thinking- I was thinking
movies
something
about
about
dancing. Singing in the rain.
People seem to get annoyed as well when I think we've often spoke about and discredited Bruce Lee and his fictional background.
dare
Have you read his book?
I'd like to have it pointed out that Bruce Lee was an actor.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Not a really good actor, actually, either. He was kind of a shit actor, if truth be told.
Come on, for the 70s.
Yeah,
That's true.
But he was playing Bruce Lee.
That is true, too.
You saying Bruce Lee was lying about his martial arts prowess?
Bruce Lee didn't kill himself.
So, John, was this guy in Loughrea, was he out in Japan fighting illegal Japanese like karate tournaments?
Yeah, but who knows? But he was telling people he was.
Yeah.
And is there such thing as an illegal karate tournament? Is that just like,
I think all
knife
karate
fighting?
tournaments are legal now. All of them.
All what?
All karate tournaments are legal.
Yeah, but what if you have like a monkey sellotape to your back with a knife?
Karate is the Japanese for legal.
Yeah, but there was a huge amount of that going on. Back in the 80s and 90s, before people kind of knew anything about martial arts, and then B, when the UFC came out first, suddenly lads be pretending that they did MMA if they didn't, even if they didn't. Now it's gone because I suppose it's easy to verify, but. Wasn't there someone? I'm thinking of some story where in Galway where like would someone try and get into a fight with one of our lads out one night and pretend he did MMA and pretended he trained in Strange Wolves or something like that.
I think I got in a self-defense situation.
Self-defense situation, right? Do I phrase that?
Where because it's happened a few times.
You've that kind of a face, Marcus.
No, do you know what?
Lads are always trying to pick him up. They're always trying to pick up Marcus.
It was a friend of mine was jumped by two guys. There was having a disagreement, and I ended up intervening, and I ended up with both lads, one in each kind of hand with an underhook each. There wasn't much about them, and I did try to bottle my
You
mate.
are very strong.
If you've both lads with that underhook, it sounds like you're all huddled together.
I'm in the middle and they're facing the other way. And one guy was moving. He kept struggling. I said, "You can stop struggling now because I'm not letting you go." He goes, "But I just want to get my shoe back on," because in the scuffle when I had grabbed him, the shoe had come off him. But afterwards, then they were like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." And we're walking away, but they were still trying to target my friend, saying, "No, but I'll fight you tomorrow. Not me. We'll fight him." And I said, "No." I said Sunday we're sparring. At that time we had Sunday sparring. So I said, "Do you know Strange Wolves and Claddagh?" He's like, "Yeah, I've trained her a bit." It was like, "Oh," I said, "Great." I said, "Come down."
Yeah, I've trained her a bit.
I've never
That's
seen
hilarious.
you, mate. Yeah. He's like, "Great." Oh, I said, "Great. You know it." So if you come down Sunday at 6, okay. That way you can wear a gum shield, and when you hit the ground, it'll be padded. And as soon as you go unconscious, I'll stop hitting you. And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm all right. And that was it, So I invited him down.
But he claimed that he had trained there.
When I mentioned it, he's like, "Yeah, I know, because I've trained her, obviously." It's like, "Great, you know the location." So I'll be there Sunday.
I like to think our beginner course lads are going off assaulting.
It's worth
In
saying
pairs.
as well. I didn't hit anyone. I just grappled. They were so. I'm sober. They have a few drinks on them, so they're moving in slow motion, and I'm moving at normal
But no,
pace.
you're right though, because I did have like a friend of mine from school who was a DJ in town, and he was talking to a lad one time who I won't name, but I know the lad, and no, it was I won't name, just a guy I know from around Galway who's a bit of a character. But this guy tried to convince. They got into a little bit of a verbal argument, and he tried to convince my friend that my friend should back down. Now, my friend couldn't back down because he was a DJ. Standing beside a DJ box, he's trying to get the guy to move away from the DJ box. He can't actually back down. There's nowhere to go. And you know the way customers that annoy you if you're a DJ. And your man dropped the whole, "Well, I do MMA." And my friend goes, "Where do you do it?" And he did say to my friend, "Oh, I do it down the Claddagh. I do it in Strange Wolves." And my friend said, "Oh, Vinny then." And that was the end of the... Your man suddenly didn't want to talk about how he did MMA anymore and didn't want to have a row with the DJ, a drunken row with the DJ.
Tell me where you do it. Tell me. Down the Claddagh.
Give me
Do you know Vinny?
Yeah, give me your exact credentials.
We had a guy in the latest beginner course, and he was telling me he was loving it. He's like, "I'm just here for self-defense. I've never done anything like this. Great." And he's like, "Oh, yeah. I think I might be wrong." He said, "Oh, yeah, John recommended to me." I was like, "Oh, John? And our John here?" No. He's like, "A different John. The surname I can't remember now, but one I've never heard." And he goes, yeah, he trains here." I was like, "No, he doesn't." I was like, I've never heard of this guy, and I've been here around 15 years. I think I'd know him. And then he got a picture of him to show him to me. I've never seen this guy before in my life. As bad as I am with names.
Thank you for your service, John. Sending people down to the beginner's course.
But not only is like, I've never like this guy John. He's never trained MMA. He's never trained it with us. But he's got the balls to go to guy. You know something? You should do a beginner's course in MMA. You should start from scratch, and I'll even tell you the club.
Can I ask you a question? In your 20 years of being coaches and blah, 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 have you ever got anyone into the club who were like purposely learning in order to go out to, put themselves about? Really, yeah?
100%.
There was a guy who I won't name. Now, in fairness to this guy, he had an enemy. And, we all have enemies. And I remember my mother used to tell me a story.
Nemesis.
My mother used to tell me a story about these two guys when she was small, who, if they met in the village, like they were from each of them were from the outer reaches of the hinterland in a rural place, and if they did come across each other in the village, they would take off their jackets and
Sorry,
they would
this sounds
fight.
like Highlander.
Yeah, there can be only one, but they're really evenly matched. So, my mother says, she can't remember the details, but they must have fought 4 or 5 times because she remembers it as one of the exciting things of her childhood in the sort of 1950s, growing up in rural Tipperary. So this guy had an enemy like that every time they would see each other out, they would fight. But they'd already fought before they ever came down to us a few times. and the other guy had joined a kickboxing club or something. Was that it? So our guy got into martial arts because the other guy had upped the ante.
It's a weapons race. It's like the Cold War.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So not quite what you're saying. Like he was only specifically interested in fighting his already
One
enemy
fighting guy.
That's kind of cool, to be honest.
it's awesome.
It is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
It's like Peter Griffin and the chicken in Family Guy.
Yeah, that's what I was
They
thinking
see
of
each other
too.
and they fucking go for it.
Malcolm in the Middle. The dad Hal has this enemy, and they just see each other and they just start fighting. Yeah, I just love that idea.
Keeps you manly.
I think dueling is like a lost art.
100%. Certainly don't know how to do it.
You got to pick a time, a really specific time. Like I'll meet you at 4:15
I always forget.
at dawn. What will we wear?
Nowadays,
Saffron.
the guy would text you beforehand and go, "Listen, I know I said I'd be there at 4. Can I make that half
Traffic.
4?" yeah.
Galway traffic, make it 5.
When I told that guy to come down to the club Sunday at 6, that was in many way a dual offering. You know, it's giving him
Was, yeah.
location,
Yeah, you're trying to
time,
keep it
going.
rules of engagement.
He probably arrived 2 hours late, and he was like, "Oh, it's closed.
Guess I can't go.
I get knocked unconscious."
So can I ask you, like in terms of say fighting, self-defense, or MMA, what is the best individual combat sport or martial art to do before you do a fight, either a real fight or before you take an MMA match, whichever?
So just as in not MMA.
Well,
all of the rest of
it's
the
going to be 1-on-1, not MMA, but you could pick one of the other ones. What one is the highest percentage, gives you the highest kind of percentage of success?
I've always thought, but again, I could be talked out of this, but I've always thought boxing is probably, a stiff jab.
You mean wrestling, right?
No, boxing.
I think you meant to say wrestling, John.
boxing, in terms of neatly packaged without getting messy on the ground, without having to push anyone long distances where you could trip or having to throw somewhere you could land badly. A stiff jab will probably take care of an awful lot of problems. That's always been my view. Just have a stiff jab handy and
Darts would be fantastic.
darts would be good, yeah.
But you've also got your judo and that behind you when you're thinking about your jab. I'd say I would go as far as say that would probably be the worst just one self-defense thing you can get. I'd rather send someone out.
Fine.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
good though. That's very good though. With two diametrically opposed views.
Yeah, like I would say you'd be better off being able to wrestle, to grapple a person and get them to the ground, contain them, than just having one punch hope. I think the early days of UFC already proved these points that it wasn't boxers didn't go in and dominate that. It was
but it's
wrestlers
unlikely
and
that
jiu-jitsu
people
guys.
on the street will have wrestling.
It is, and also it brings into question, like, if you wrestle someone to the ground, then suddenly their friends or whatever is going to pile on top of you or whatever. It's going to open up things to more. I think people would consider it like, oh, that's not fair. That's not fair ground fighting.
Boxing, yeah.
That's not fair boxing. If rules have been broken, and then more people will join the fight. Whereas if you're both kind of duking, but everyone stands back and watches the dukes.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, if you have decent level of boxing against someone who has none, even an established street fighter, you're going to be able to.
Nowadays? What about the fact that everybody has something nowadays? What about
everyone has something as in karate, aikido,
Krav Maga.
thing. So which is a fancy way of saying nothing.
Delusions. They have delusions.
Would you say karate is nothing?
No, that's not true. I think karate is probably more realistic. Taekwondo, taekwondo on the street is probably because you can go from range and whatever. So there's probably stuff like that. But someone having if we were talking, I know we talk an awful lot about aikido or whatever. I remember Krav. I know an old friend of mine did whatever many years in aikido, and is still convinced that he is a dangerous person.
Probably is.
He is a dangerous person, yeah.
Well, maybe not for the.
I'd love to see his basement.
Yeah. So, I suppose everyone has something, but how many people have passed through beginners courses over 15 years, 20 years, that have come and done 6 months or a year, and you have to use the language or you lose it, and you lose eloquence and whatever. So you might have a few tricks, but ultimately, if you're relatively, I think, getting back on the bicycle, if you have a bit of boxing done, you're going to be far more, it's far more utility in it, in my mind, for a very brief scuffle, and make it as brief as you can, rather than wrestling someone somewhere, getting them into whatever gift wrap and potentially get kicked in the face.
I think if you're learning boxing traditionally, you're used to the gloves as well. And you're going to get grabbed. You're going to get the hoodie's going to get grabbed. I honestly think Mighty Ducks was mentioned beforehand. Ice hockey. If you learn how to pull the hoodie over someone's head,
Absolutely.
that's class.
You know, it's not Queensberry rules here, John. It's just the streets. People are keeping it real. You know, you don't have to shoot a double leg. You know what I mean? You can do some Greco-Roman.
If you got class at the
shot, fuck this. Outside now, bitch.
You got class at the shot put. Imagine if you're like Olympic level shot put. Imagine the damage you could do to someone by just throwing stuff at them.
Yeah, I'd say over the years of people coming from different martial arts backgrounds or combat sports, obviously Aikido and Krav disregarded, but like I'd say boxing is probably one of the worst foundations, I would say, for doing MMA. You've got the wrong footwork.
For doing MMA,
yeah. But it's this
outside Supermax at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
I put my money on the wrestler.
Jabs on some. If you land a jab on someone's nose and their eyes start watering her up, a lot of the time that puts an end to
You're
it.
thinking the street fight's only going to be 20 seconds.
Yeah. Well, a lot of street fights.
And you're right.
Are, yeah.
Oh, you're right. And I suppose if there's two guys, you jab one and you jab another, and the street fight could be over. So I totally get.
And then
It was like whack-a-mole. You just pop it everywhere.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
If it gets fruity, then you have the option to hit someone hard in a well delivered, well executed manner. And if they have a few drinks, if that doesn't knock them down, then put them off it.
I get what you're saying. Marcus, what were you saying about coaching guys?
Marcus is talking about taking other men's clothes off, actually. Sorry, go back to that there, Marcus.
It was in a kind of if I'm going to fight you, I'm going to do it the right way and take off your T-shirt, you know.
I don't have that. What do you get, the look good naked thing?
LGN. Yeah. I can't remember that acronym. Whenever I need to use it, I'm always like, okay, look starts with the L,
Daily.
G starts with G, N
I'm
starts
trying to
with
look LGBT.
naked starts with F.
I found boxing. Anyone who's done years of boxing, they're so one-dimensional. They're not able to pick up the sport because out of all the bad habits,
that's a different conversation. You're talking about getting into MMA. I'm talking about
I think you're talking about just assaulting someone now, because the other person we're assuming is able to fight as well. And I'd say like both people can swing punches, and at close range, like Tom said, with the not wearing the soft gloves, it's really a 50-50 of who's got the longer arms now. We're talking in this.
Marcus is actually trying to start a fight. No, I get what you're saying.
Scenario.
But I suppose I kind of slyly asked the question in a vague manner because I said fighting or MMA. And I think they are very different. Like, if you want a street fight, then, like, if you want to win a street fight, boxing could well serve you well because it'll only be 10, 20 seconds. But if you want to learn MMA, I agree with you. I think boxing it's a very bad base for MMA.
If I was thinking of street fighting, I'd secretly wear knee pads underneath my pants.
Sweet.
Nice.
Sorry, just for the uninitiated amongst us, why do you sort of like so easily dismiss Krav Maga and Aikido? Like,
Israel? What? Sorry.
Careful.
Because the lads don't like Israel. That's their.
We're racist against the state of Israel.
There are a number of, and again, people who, whatever, 3 or 4 people who have listened to the podcast before. If you still listen to it, you probably enjoy these conversations about.
What you do, Krav Maga, right? You call a ceasefire. And then when the guy, you say, calm down. And then when they put their hands down, you double tap them right in the face.
That's what makes it so effective, Tom.
You punch their child.
and starve them for
While you're worrying about that, you punch their wife in the tit.
Again, John, that's what makes it so effective. You know what I mean?
It's very effective.
It's not very effective making friends.
Don't mess around.
They started it.
So, do you know what bothers me is you never listened to any of our podcasts before, did you?
That's not true. He did listen.
We were cancelled.
He did listen to one because once he tried to edit the sound to make it sound better. But this is when we were using one mic between the 4 of us, and it came back to me after you spending.
Did I ruin it?
No, it wasn't. It was just we had one microphone between 4 people, so it was always going to be terrible. And Les tried to do a bit of magic editing it, and it was kind of uneditable, really. You know.
You
So I
can
think he would have
practice your
listened a bit.
editing on these two.
And I remember your feedback because it was very cutting at the time. You said, "Geez, you're really enjoying yourselves, aren't you?"
As long as someone is.
We have 5 fans currently.
You're laughing a lot. Yeah.
So just in terms of the boxing, like, you know, if a kickboxer comes in to an MMA gym, like, at least they'll have some kicks and they'll be moving around and they'll be standing at a range that's a bit further away than a boxer. If a boxer comes in, they're standing so close, a lot of them, when they throw their punches, that it's easy to grab them compared to the kickboxer. But it's more than that. It's more like Irish boxers are very elitist because Ireland is such an amazing boxing nation traditionally. When the boxer comes in, if he's done a boxing, say, competition, or he's boxing at a quite high level, he already thinks that he knows way more than any of the coaches in the MMA club about striking, and they're not afraid to tell you. Like, they'll say to you, "Oh, you're standing wrong," or, you know, "I don't like the way you stand like that," or they might be polite and they might say, "Well, why do you stand like that?" As in,
That's how polite they can be.
someone just said it to me there very recently. Again, I won't name them. And then they explained to me how, you know, in Crumlin Boxing Club, the coach was very rigid, as this is exactly how you should stand in a boxing match, which is fair enough because that probably is true. But I think maybe boxing in Ireland is overly defensive in clubs because it's point based, and they've got a fairly, like in Irish amateur boxing, they're doing a hands kind of close to their forehead style. They're not doing the fun Prince Nassim Hamid style.
A great dancer.
Yeah. I thought another point for why boxing is shit, John, just to really nail us home. Any of the boxers who have went and done bare knuckle fighting, which is closer to your Supermax scenario here, they've done very poorly because they're actually not able to fight a bum MMA fighter with concussions. Who? Paulie Magnanala. Do you remember the guy?
That guy was 42.
Yes.
But,
I don't know what age he was when he fought.
But an accomplished boxer. Yeah. Yes. He definitely.
But he was too old. No,
wait. Who was he?
No, you can't do that.
Who was he fighting?
I actually don't even know who he was fighting.
The Russian Hammer, fucking Knockout McGee, Mister. I can barely not lose a fight, and it's suddenly
Artem.
Yeah, he
Artem fought him?
Yes, and bet him in bare knuckle.
Wow, that was a good grudge, kind of manufactured
Yeah.
grudge thing. 'Cause
McGregor's
remember,
like, yeah.
McGregor and your man didn't get on for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's-
hullabaloo around the Mayweather stuff.
'Cause he was kind of supposedly helping McGregor or something in the sparring, and McGregor went too hard on him or something.
And then Artem and him fell out then, and the lawsuit.
They did.
Wonders did they ever settle that?
They did.
They did. Hopefully,
I think
Artem. got
McGregor
figured.
lost.
Oh, did he?
I think so. Yeah, I could be wrong on that now.
I think he won it.
You think?
Is he still undefeated in terms of lawsuits?
Sorry, you think? Who do you think won it?
losses.
Sorry, Marcus. Who do you think won it?
I think McGregor won.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
So confrontational this evening, isn't he?
It's
anything
great.
we say, Marcus.
It's great though. It lends some sort of tension to the
Some
podcast.
tension, yeah.
And like, it's in fairness, it's not just us that'll disagree in this room. It'll be
All of our listeners.
Others too.
All of the listeners. You know, I'm sure they'll be texting in. around that.
be.
Text right now.
You know, you sit two people down, and they'll have different. You know, 5 martial artists will have 5 different opinions. You know, because street fights as well. Like, it's funny with street fights because there's so many permutations. Like, what do you mean by street fight? Are there going to be 2 of them? Are there going to be one? Is it going to be 1-on-1? Is it gentlemanly? Are there going to be rules? You know, because in fairness to the Krav guys, you know, I know we always kind of take the piss, but in fairness to them,
Guns work.
And they have jets and bombs and
Yeah.
stuff. And the singer from Disturbed signs some of the bombs before they drop them on.
serious?
Yeah. Disturbed is a
That
band.
is Disturbed. I've never heard of Disturbed.
It's self-defense against.
No, I was
helpless
reading
people.
that they decided, was reading yesterday, they decided to take a hiatus because your man was just like, everyone just needs to cool down. But there was a few gigs in Europe that were cancelled because they were like, actually, do you know what, just don't come here. Which was wonderful to see.
So in fairness to Kraft, like, I suppose they would argue that, you know, they're eye poking and they're doing all this stuff that we're not doing, and they would say, oh, well, we're talking about real fighting and you're just talking about MMA. I get that MMA isn't real fighting, but if you look at the way, so you have to look at how people train in clubs, like the way Krav people train. We're going to be able to unpoke someone.
Their secret sauce is kick them in the nuts.
And they're never
And
gonna
there
be
you
able
go.
to do that.
That's how you win. You're just
But
kicking them in the nuts.
John, they're never going to be able to kick someone in the nuts because they're not practicing it realistically. Do you know what I mean?
Show it to
I would
them.
hate to live in a club, or live in a club. I'd hate to train in a club where people practice realistic.
I'm
kicking in the
sure. I'm
nuts.
sure we've all had this experience sparring someone who's come from a Krav background. But I remember one a few years ago. I actually went to school with this guy, and then he came in. I'll just name him because I don't care. Nathan.
Shout out Nathan.
Shout out Nathan. And he'd done. I don't know how much Krav Maga he'd done, but he'd done a lot. I'd say.
How bad?
I wouldn't throw stones, Tom. I would not throw stones.
I smell fantastic. You can go fuck yourself.
So anyway,
Is that what that is?
so me
I worked all day.
me and Nathan go for a roll, and he's trying his hardest, and I'm just tapping him fairly easy. It's kind of one of those kind of rolls where you can't but tap him because he's so bad. And then afterwards he goes, "Whew, that would go very differently if I was allowed to use my Krav Maga." I said, "All right, so we'll do another round." I said, "This time you can do your eye gouges, you can rake the face, whatever your Krav moves are, you do them this time. But also realize I can also do them this time as well, right? Is that fair enough?" He was like, "Yeah." And this time I was like double time, just submitting him to prove the point that he wasn't able to.
Fish hook him.
I didn't even need to
Double fish hook.
I didn't need to do any eye gouging or things. And he was trying his hardest, but it was actually getting tapped even quicker this time.
There was an urgency to you.
When you go to hook your hands, you're in a really bad grappling posture when you're trying to gouge someone's eye.
I heard a story before about self-defense against a knife. Maybe it was already told in the podcast, where this guy was told to would you do some self-defense against the knife, and he said, "Oh, hold on, I have a real knife in my bag." Do you remember the story?
Yeah, a guy called a BJJ. I think he's like a 4th degree black belt now. He's an American guy called Harris. He's an original gangster from BJJ. That happened to him in Poland. He told me that happened to him. That the guy, he was given a seminar in Poland in self-defense because this guy Harris had a military background before he'd been a professional jiu-jitsu coach, and the guy in Poland said, "I have a real knife," and went and got a real knife and said, "Show me." He said, "Come up to the front," and he said, "Show me a realistic defense against a real knife," to this guy Harris, and then your man Harris had to do it.
But there was a sense of urgency with the self-defense that he just hit him on the head, I think.
Harris was like, "Oh, you ready?" Your man says yes, and Harris hit him in the face as hard as he could.
He used boxing.
Fuck.
There you go.
Circle.
There you go.
Circle.
That wasn't a real fight, though. He had a knife.
But I totally get that. Like, sometimes a punch in the face is. Now, whether or not some people could argue that if you go into an amateur boxing club in Ireland, that there's no punch in the face going on, that they're all just hitting pads. You know what I mean? That they're spending an hour just doing 1-2s on the pads, and it's not realistic training. It's basically boxercise, and maybe the more experienced guys at the end of an hour and 10 minutes boxercise. This is going to get me in a lot of trouble now. This bit that they might go sparring, and then they just suddenly go bananas at 100% sparring, having done boxercise for the previous hour and 10 minutes. And there's nothing intermediate. There's nothing between those points where they can actually practice their skills, except on the pads, which of course is not live drilling. Pads are kind of, by and large, I would never throw the pads out completely, but like 90% of your training on pads is crazy.
Agreed.
Unless you're training to fight a pad.
Pads. One on the left, one on the right. I'm haunted by 2 pads.
But that's not boxing's fault. That's just the way it's trained in the particular countries. Maybe not like that in other places.
Look, boxing never meant to hurt anyone. You know, it wasn't its fault, and I can see, like, it's clearly John was in the right. You know, and I have to grow as a person, and I'm going to take some time away, and I'm going to find Christ.
Does anyone want to impersonate Krav Maga?
Your first lesson's free if you touch me.
Sorry, did you mean that as in like if you touch me, kind of like I'll give you a lesson, kind of thing? Is that That can't like isn't sexually like?
Yeah,
It's
shoulder
weird though,
massage.
because of all the martial arts, like we've seen, you're old enough to have seen like Aikido. You'll remember when Aikido was massive.
Steven Seagal.
And everyone thought Aikido was going to be this big thing.
and then
karate came, then kung fu.
Although kung fu was probably one of the first ones because of the whole Bruce Lee stuff and the kung fu movies, and that's where everyone was.
Probably done them in the wrong order, but
everyone was fully convinced that if you were a kung fu master, you were akin to a god of fighting.
Meanwhile, in China, they're training sanda and they're like kickboxing each other with takedowns.
Yeah.
yeah. But then, you get to the point now where we have MMA clubs in a lot of places. Not everywhere, but a lot of places have MMA clubs. But they're sort of left out of the equation. A lot of these people who are going into karate clubs or boxing clubs or kickboxing clubs or jiu-jitsu clubs even, or Aikido clubs, the one place they won't go to learn self-defense is the MMA club for some strange reason.
Because it's cool to tell people you're doing a thing. A question came up in my mind. You meet a new person. What's the likelihood that after 10 or 15 minutes, they will know what sport you do?
0.
I don't talk about Fight Club outside of Fight Club.
Yeah, almost
podcast club.
I'd be very slow too. And I'm just saying, if you meet someone who does any of the traditional forms of self-defense, what is the likelihood that you'll hear in the first 10%? It's an interesting question. Maybe none of them talk about it either.
More likely to talk about lettuce.
I think you're right. I think they probably will mention it, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a thought that came up that it's like, and when you do kind of, like, I still don't know what to call what we do because, sometimes it's submission grappling. We're doing submission grappling days or wrestling for MMA or whatever. It's rare these days that we're doing full MMA rounds or whatever, with the on occasion.
On Monday?
Yeah, so normally if someone asks or something,
Monday?
I just say, wrestling. Because it's something that people understand. No one will ask you anything more about. The odd time you get like WWE kind of things, like, yeah.
Was that the day before the last podcast?
It was the day before the last podcast, yeah.
That was ages ago.
So long ago.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, this just came up in my mind. And that's not in a kind of aren't we great way. It's just an interesting thought that, you'd hear about fellas who are fighting in illegal tournaments in Japan.
Apart from like just being too busy and it's not on the forefront of my mind when I meet people. Apart from all that, I don't want to tell people I do what Conor McGregor does because it's they're going to think, who knows what they'll think, but I would imagine they're going to jump to all the wrong conclusions, and I'm not looking to invite that upon myself.
I'm a cage fighter.
Yeah. Unless you've got a few minutes to talk to them and explain to them what it's actually.
In some ways, if you explain, it's like, okay, the cage fighting stuff, because and then they might, or the UFC, because you don't want to say I do UFC, So I suppose it's an interesting one. It isn't something I suppose that you would kind of prefer. Initially.
You know what's great, John? Like I remember you telling me before about being at a wedding and you met a guy that we both know, and not that wedding story, Marcus.
No, let's not discuss that one.
And this
goes to an awful lot of weddings.
This guy at the wedding started telling you like some story about like a Japanese jiu-jitsu move that would kill a man or whatever, that would kill a man stone dead. So that was years ago.
And I had rolled with him a few weeks or months prior.
You knew him, like,
and it was,
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But so, like, I suppose the great thing about MMA getting a bit more popular is that a lot of those stories of like, I've got this move, and if I do it on you, I'd kill you, so I can't do it on you. Those stories are by and large gone, thankfully now. Like on the doors, when I used to start doing them, or when I did them, and that guy actually, the same guy, I worked on the doors with him. People used to tell all these stories about how tough they were, and part of it was like saying that Japanese knowledge that was really dangerous. But thankfully now that's gone because people are just like, well, if it
I don't think that's gone. I don't think it is. No, I think we don't experience it. But I think if you're in some Japanese jiu-jitsu clubs, I would imagine that it's still going strong. Or else why would anyone go back to these things unless they were there was some hook.
Community, John. Community.
That's
They're there to
there
make
you go,
friends.
Tom. Yeah,
That's a good point. Yeah. So maybe the fact that we do MMA, people just don't say it to us.
maybe.
Or
Or
whatever.
we probably don't talk to people about that kind of stuff. And when you do, you have that kind of like, oh, they're talking about. And again, it's not in
Do
a.
you think,
It's,
do
what?
you think they think we're brainwashed and they're like, don't go to John with
Oh,
this
maybe.
because they'll just go on about MMA and we all know it's bullshit.
But
Our psychic.
But do you
powers
like?
win.
Would you be talking at people like that?
Well, I've had people, I've read online people say about our club's train shows that we're, McDojo, that we don't really spar, that we don't really do MMA because we don't have that many competitors.
We need to be a franchise before we can be a McDojo.
It's kind of funny because from the point of view of, say, I don't know, if you pick a Northern Irish MMA club where every dude in there is super tough and fit, then they could look at us as kind of like, they could look at us as a bit crabby, even though we're not.
Yeah.
But it's all about, I suppose, where you're coming from.
We're average Joe's boxing gym, I think. We're average Joe's gym.
I think what we're doing is realistic. It would help you because we do spar, but we just don't spar as hard as other people. But my perspective, if you're sparring hard all the time, you're wearing down the clock. You're wearing down the hardware. So hopefully, what we do is
And a lot of us have had a few years, like all four of us have been around
done the
long
hard
enough,
sparring.
so we've done the hard, and fought various types and various body shapes and various rage and aggression and whatever. So we've had, a fair amount of that. Have come out the other side and
What
realize
people expect when they come into an MMA club. They expect to see that all the time. They're not going to see that all the time in our place.
Not realistic.
I don't think so. No.
I think it's, well, the clientele has changed over the years of who comes to an MMA club, Like they used to be barbed wire, skinhead, roided up kind of how you looked a few years ago, John. That was kind of the, that was the.
You're picking a fight with John this podcast.
I feel really aggrieved. I'm like, he's hurting my feelings.
That was the look people had, of an MMA club and what people expected to be there. But now we get a lot more like, what I'd say, nose rings, nerds. I'm looking at you, Les. Now, like you wouldn't have been who I would have seen in an MMA club years ago.
Your ego's put in check, I'd say, for sure, because there is no secret move. You have to kind of train and practice stuff. It takes time. There's no, old pill you can take to be good overnight, and you got to be fit and strong and fit and strong relative to how your lifestyle you're living and your size or whatever.
And don't get me wrong, the gym is, it's not like we don't get any wild cards and crazy horses. We still do. It's just that the locker room used to be exclusively that,
Yeah.
It's now.
And in some ways, we might have been a part of that, that party when we were young and dumb, full of cum kind of thing. And we were all just kick fucking each other the whole time. But I suppose experience is a big thing too. And
Sorry, go on, Tom.
No, I just think the secret move thing, that's kind of ego coming top down as well, because it's the black belt saying, who doesn't train ever, never does any sparring, saying like, I have a secret move that I can't show. When you pay the fees for a few years, I'll show you.
We used to train at 7 or was it 6 in the morning in the Lisbon Industrial Estate, and we used to actually spar.
And you go into work moderately concussed at least like twice a month.
I used to go into school.
Yeah.
I used to go.
You were
I was
underage at the time.
I was underage, and I still remember there was some very hard spars.
You've never been right since, Tom.
Yeah.
I have no. There were some lads now, and when no one was else in the gym, they would be like, "Let's do some boxing, Tom."
Yeah.
A friend of Marcus's came down one morning and he was literally, I think he's probably still the biggest dude I've ever seen coming into a gym in say a gym that I was involved in anyway. And he was kind of puffed up. He was big with muscle. Like it was kind of like he was twice as big as he should have been from lifting weights. Those kind of guys. And he was a lovely fella. I won't name him, but he'd done a bit of kickboxing and boxing as well. So he was hard, and he'd been fighting. Marcus knew him from school. He'd been fighting a lot in school. So he had good experience. But one morning, I'm really sure it was a morning session, but it was either a morning session or it was a Saturday evening session, which is just as weird, because it was 6 o'clock on a Saturday we used to train. He brought a girl down, he brought a really beautiful girl down to watch him beat up some other dudes. That actually happened. And she just sat there and like smiled as he kind
Then
of fought
kind
all of
of
us.
did Ross then flirt with the girl? I think did
Oh, you're right.
Ross swooned
Shout out to
over
Ross.
Ross Fegan.
She really took a shot to Ross. You're right. I totally forgot that.
So this guy's got this girl to look at and watch him like look all hard, and then Ross Fegan, who was like at the time was massive fuckboy, and
Tom.
and so I
Don't use that language on the podcast.
for boy.
Don't call him massive.
And he swooned over to your one and started chatting with her. And your man kept looking back nervously, like, do you know the boxing match in The Simpsons where the homeless guy's looking back at the sandwich? He'd be like looking back, like, is my girlfriend still there? Is she still there? Yeah, that's my
Really
experience.
funny. I totally forgotten that.
Things for context in that story. Your man, I don't know if he was Connacht champion in boxing as a teenager or if it was maybe just Sligo, but he'd competed in a lot of...
Same thing. The standard in Sligo was so good at the time.
He was doing it, so he was big man
very
on
good.
campus with that. And also Ross, phenomenal gift to the gab.
Oh, ladies man. Sorry, I meant to say ladies man. Ladies man.
You know, so like that's the...
He's working as a fireman as well. Like
know?
just... Catch.
Oh, Ross is good with men as well. He's good overall charisma, personality.
He knew to ignore your man and just go straight for your one.
I'd say he was probably just trying to kind of, you know, play hard to get with your man.
But your man never came back, so maybe that was why he didn't go bringing his, hot girlfriend down to an MMA club again.
Yeah, look, like...
He didn't think that one through,
Let me bring my
defense for
woman
Ross.
down to a room full of heated men.
I had my own. I remember the name of the makeup was Le Touche Éclat pen, and then concealer for the amount of black ice that we used to have from morning
Good thing
sessions.
you had it in the house, John.
No, I had it in the car.
Oh yeah, even better.
So on the way from, you go home, and was there a shower in Dave Joyce's?
There was one somewhere, I think. Yeah, I don't know if we ever
I
used it
think I
though.
used to go home first, have a shower, and then I don't know how many days I'd have to apply a touch of makeup going in to teach junior infants.
Yeah.
And it was rarely noticed.
You were like Baron Van Hemoglobin in there. Probably.
Yeah. But it was like, and it was just because we were like, when you think of it, sparring at 6 a.m. was, that was a stupid thing to do.
It was all stupid, but we didn't have much choice because, in fairness, we wanted mat time. We wanted as much time in the mats as possible. We didn't have any money. We couldn't afford the rent of like peak hours in a place, so that we could like get cheap rent at 6 or 7 in the morning, and on Saturday evening at 6 o'clock.
But
and all these weird
it was
times.
definitely 5 or 6 days a week we were training those days as well.
Yeah, we had other sessions, but we had like extra sessions
for
at
the
weird
morning.
times. And SEMA were very good to us now, in fairness, and facilitating all that.
Dave was so sound, yeah.
Shout out to SEMA, Dave Joyce.
It is
Thai boxing.
it's definitely a sport where you would have got a lot of injuries and scratches that make you socially are
defense
hard,
marks.
Yeah, exactly. Hard to explain. I'm
Jesus,
littered
remember-
with defense marks on my
Shit.
arms.
Yeah, I got obviously I haven't got much to conceal any head wounds, and I remember I was training with some guy, and he had very sharp nails, and he clawed 3 fingers down
Tiger claw.
from the top of my head, and I suspect in certain lights you could probably still see one of them. But try to explain that to people. It's like, why are there claw marks down the front of your face? It was like, okay, it's not what it looks like. I was just with the guy with very long fingernails.
I work with tigers.
Yeah. So that was an unfortunate one. Yeah.
I got a great split over the eye. It was me and you just doing the warm up, and we're just doing whatever slow rolling, but just a hazardous knee. I headbutted and I was.
I think it's the exact same thing that happened to Cyril and Tom Aspinall.
I saw your knee.
I think the knee was probably just, and you headbutted it.
I thought that knee's not so tough. Well, I bet it would like if I
Don't do that to my knee, man. It really hurt.
eyebrowed it, but I got split open. I had to get stitches over it, but my fringe at the time was long enough to conceal it, and nobody knew about it at work. It was brilliant.
I'd like to think that there's an eyebrow on John's knee.
Chicks dig scars,
I think I took as much out of his knee as my eyebrow.
To get back to the eye poke thing, I've never eye poked someone in MMA. Not that I'm a professional. I've had one or two pro fights, but I've had lots and lots of spars in the gym that have been full on, and I've never accidentally eye poked someone. I'm not saying it couldn't happen accidentally. Of course it can, but I have a feeling a lot of these eye pokes aren't quite as accidental as. I'm not necessarily saying Cyril Gann now, but I'm sure there's eye pokes out there that are semi-deliberate / deliberate.
On the other hand, just to give the other side of the coin, Vinny.
Mr. Contrarian on this
He's
podcast.
just so contrarian.
I like it though.
I'll just give you the correct point of view. I was sparring somebody who would have at the time been in more of a coaching role, and I was maybe having a glow up, and I
know who you're talking about.
I was getting the better of them, and I was hitting them with a stiff jab, and I was knocking them down. But
What you're saying was John was right about the stiff jabs.
You know, it's just time and pressure. Time and pressure.
Don't worry, it wasn't a real fight.
Yeah, exactly. They were gunning for takedown, but I was hitting, and then all of a sudden it became they got poked in the eye, and it's like, oh, geez, you poked me in the eye, and then which I knew I hadn't, but it was like I just punched you in the eye. It's very different.
Yeah.
And then the next one again, they came in, and my jab was just lighting them up. And then they went to the ground. It's like, oh, my eye again. I've been poked in the eye again. And that was the end of the round. So I feel I wasn't eye poking. They were looking for the same bit of face from losing the round.
That is very interesting.
I accidentally poked you in the eye once. And you're.
I'm not saying I haven't been eye poked.
Yeah.
I'm saying I haven't eye poked anybody else.
Your contact came out.
You've got small reach
I
for your
can't
height
remember.
as well. I think you kick a lot more. I think if
That
you
is
had
true.
long arms,
I've probably toe poked.
Or if you
someone in the eye.
if you had thin toes.
Yeah.
slender toes, but like slender man toes.
And did I cry like a baby when you knocked my contact lens out?
I
with the-
remember, and again, I never set out to hurt anyone. Sometimes it would happen, but I know I think I got in deep.
Okay.
And I think the thing
Nice.
came out, and I remember you just kind of going, and you were obviously in some discomfort. So I felt bad about that. So
I've forgotten all about it.
So I tried to take your back immediately, but it's like, no, I didn't.
You got to do what you got to do to
I
win the
didn't, I
round.
didn't,
You know what I mean? No one would fault you for that.
No, yeah, I felt bad about that. But I have been eye poked a few times, yeah. But not to any great extent. Maybe once when I had to kind of not stop, but back away a good bit for a while to kind of blink a lot.
Did we? I meant to ask you this on the first podcast back. Did we miss anything? Were you saying something about we missed something?
I think we got it. I think we looked it up.
5 years worth of MMA, Vinny.
We did the research, and I think we were right about everything.
Oh, you're correct. You're correct. That's true.
We did. We actually had. We used to do a segment where people would send in questions to the show.
Oh,
And
We didn't get through all the fan mail yet.
I can get
so.
it through, but there was actually, when I went back onto our Twitter page where people were submitting them, there's actually some questions from when we did our last podcast in 2020 that we haven't got to. So I suppose we could answer them back. Be a bit late, Finney, to be honest. 5 years on.
Are they out of date?
The questions are probably as relevant today.
Let's see. Let's open one or two of them up and see.
Les, have you one you could bring up there? I've one of them here. It's I've recently found myself out of a job because a younger man has come on and replaced it. How can I get my seat back on the podcast? From Chris in Malta. Any advice for Chris, Finney?
I don't know if Tom is younger than Chris.
I think
So
Chris
for
is
my
younger than
My
me.
first bit of advice to Chris is get your facts right, dude.
Grow older, maybe. Get older. Grow up, Chris. I know he can't have a seat
I think I think that job is waiting there. I think management have started to realise they've made a horrible mistake. I think he should just
Smell off this lad.
I'd say one more fucking top 3 dancing fucking MMA things and he's out the fucking gap.
I can't wait for the next podcast for my next top 3.
I got one here. Can you please provide some general tips on ducking and parrying? I feel like I'm reacting too slowly or not at all when confronting an opponent face to face in a standing position. And that's from C Rock in Hollywood, California.
Fuck.
No.
What, he's reacting too slowly?
Yeah, yeah.
Is he a bit like?
I don't know. That's
He's
all I
reacting
got
slowly
in
to,
the
because
question.
usually people react too quickly and they flinch, but he's reacting too slowly.
Who sent that in? Where did
Is he drunk?
Sea Rock in Hollywood, California.
Oh, that sounds.
Punch drunk.
Oh, is that thing?
It was well. That would have been before. So this question came in 2020. So
someone predicted.
Chris Rock sent that in to us in 2020, saying, "Look,"
And we never got back to him.
and he fucking went to the Oscars and got slapped because we never got back to him. Fuck. What would we say in hindsight to Chris Rock? How could he have dealt with getting slapped by Will Smith? He's saying his reaction times are too slow, Vinny, from self-defense.
I recall Will Smith turned around and walked away. So what he could have done was just jumped up on his back and choked him out as he walked away.
Taking his back control.
I think he did perfectly. I think taking the hit there, he won the war instead of jumping on his
point.
back like a little.
That's a good point. You make a good point, Tom.
I know. I would have kicked him in the back.
You know what would have been hilarious?
This is Sparta.
If you just giving him the old kick up the arse as he walked away.
If you just got your
Just
finger
ran,
and checked
booted
the
him.
oil as he went away, checked.
That would have been all. I know we spoke about this movie years ago, Best of the Best, but I'm pretty sure somebody jumps and breaks someone's back at the start of that kick you're describing is it's a legit move.
Who breaks someone's back in Best?
I think one of the fighters, it might be Sean Penn's brother. Does he get killed in Best of the Best?
Chris Penn. He doesn't get killed. He's in it, isn't he? In the final fight off. We'll have to review that movie again.
Yeah,
They must be really, really good if they're the best of the best.
Maybe someone did.
Oh, maybe.
Do you know
Maybe
what?
I'm thinking
We
about-
should go back and re-review all the movies we've reviewed.
Yeah.
Actually,
Tonight.
let's review our review of the movies.
No, that's an even better idea.
Inception,
Meta Man.
movie review Inception.
Yeah. Are we going to review a movie, or are we going to bother ever again?
Best of the best of the best.
I think we should review a different type of movie.
Smashing Machine.
Porn. Smashing Machine. Well, really?
There was a new Smashing Machine movie out that was based on the documentary. I think it was terrible. Your man Dwayne Johnson was in it. I heard it was
Another Rock.
Yeah, Dwayne the Rock.
We could do like a thriller or
Maybe we better not.
mystery.
Maybe it's best not to make any promises because
We do
the
Parasite.
listener might hold us to
I
it.
tell you, let's let the audience decide. Why don't you message in a movie that you want us to review?
That could be dangerous now. Chris Rock could get back to us.
No porn and nothing to do with soccer.
We've got like 50 requests for the Big Green, the Disney soccer movie.
Escape to Victory.
I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
They got great flow, those soccer players.
It's pretty much like for the Mean Machine, that movie. So we could probably, and also people can send us in on the Instagram page at Strange Wolves MMA Galway, maybe, or just MMA. I'm not sure which. Just search, you'll find us. You can send us in questions if you've got some questions for us, similar to young Chris there.
We should have talked about this at the very start when people were listening.
I don't want people sending questions who are just jumping on the bandwagon, Tom. I want the hardcores. People who've really got nothing else better to do.
Get the real desperate questions.
Have you ever considered getting an expert analysis on street fight videos? Maybe get some random.
That's what we should review.
Yeah, pop it up
that's
on
a good
YouTube
one. Yeah.
or WorldStar and seeing what they did right and wrong.
They have those, though. Don't they have those, like, military experts or whatever selling their stuff? So there's probably Krav experts who'll be like, what they should have done was... They're probably not crack, though. Yeah, we'll just have the crack with it. Okay.
I know Chuck Liddell does it with different guests where they look at like street fight moments and they kind of have to carry Chuck because he's got so much concussion syndrome that he can barely, talk now. So I think we could fit into the market.
He thinks he's actually in a fight. He sees the video. He thinks he's in a fight.
Then we'd have to watch, like let's do that and a movie maybe, because movies are more fun.
What movie is that?
No, let's do that and a movie. I'm saying.
And the Ant movie. He wants to watch the Ant movie.
The Ant movie and its lesser successful
we cleared that up.
sequel, the Uncle movie.
Do you know what movies I don't think were around in our time before the 2020 when we closed? Was John Wick around then? Those ones, they're kind of the more modern.
Happy Feet. Happy feet,
a
guys.
modern martial art movie. That's maybe one we could look at. And how does it hold up to? How many blood sports is it out of 5 blood sports? You know.
Well, I think it would be like, a very much starting off strong and ending up poor.
Yeah.
By the end of that franchise, but yeah, it could be a fun one.
We'll see
Anyway,
what
let's
people
let
listen
the
to.
audience decide.
I'm sure Chris Rock will get back to us.
We leave it at that.
Yeah.
Keep it crabby.
Cause it's the Strange World podcast. Tell 'em boys how long it's gonna last. Mark is